Bring the Monday, May 1st, 2023 Township Committee meeting to order. Please stand for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law by posting a notice of this meeting on the bulletin board in the municipal building, by faxing notice of this meeting to the Press of Atlantic City and Star Ledger on January the 6th, 2023, and by publication in the Press of Atlantic City and Star Ledger on January the 9th, 2023, and January the 10th, 2023. Mr. Cheek?
Here.
Mrs. Blank?
Here.
Mr. Schenker?
Here.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Here.
Mayor Patali?
Here. A moment of silence for private reflection. Okay. Guest presentations, we have none. Addition, deletion, late agenda items, none. So we move on to early public comment.
We have James Carrigan for 8B.
I'm Carl.
Mr. Carrigan?
As you know, Ray left the zoning board, and I have been trying to get on that board for the past 2 years. So I hope the five of you will consider me.
Yep, we have your application.
Okay.
Yep,
Thank you so much.
thank you. Anybody else, Brett?
Yeah, that was it.
That's it? Moving on. Local endorsement for cannabis licensing. We're going to have an informal presentation by HMS Jersey LLC for a proposed Class 5 retail license, Block 994, Lot 37 in the Hamilton Business Park. That's you? Come on down.
Thank you. I can use this. Okay. Where do I go next? Okay, there we go. Sorry. Good evening. All right, my name is Jessica Dougherty. I am from the Cape May County area. I am part owner in Villas Vape. It is a smoke shop that we have down in Lower Township. We do carry the Delta 8 and 9 and other CBD products down there as well. But now I am part owners with Sipkoi, who started in Moreno Valley, California in 2019. It was founded by my partners in 2019, Chris Hansen, Craig McCoy, and Derek Sipkoi. All right. So it says that I'm a Hamilton Township resident. My partner's made an error. I am not. I am from Cape May County, just so you know. So they do have extensive knowledge in the cannabis micro-business industry and have created a high-end dispensary experience from CBD oils to medical-grade marijuana. Sipkoi's experience in the industry has proven to increase city tax revenue and stimulate economic growth within local businesses. We are here to serve and educate the public on cannabis benefits and responsible use while using high-quality products at an affordable price in a safe and secure location. So this is their journey so far. In 2016, they started researching and learned the benefits of cannabis. 2019 was the start of their first project, which was their hemp farm in Moreno Valley. So those doors then opened in 2020, their first micro business, and then now 2023 expanding into San Jacinto and Hamilton Township, hopefully. So this is my business partners here, Craig McCoy, Chris Hansen, and Derek Sipcoy. As you can see, they all have experience in cultivating and, marijuana use. So, our microbusiness in Moreno Valley operated a 27,000 square foot facility with cultivation, retail, dispensary, manufacturing, and distribution. This location has offered 21 new employment opportunities and served over 200,000 customers. So for this is their numbers here in Moreno Valley, and their reviews on, Google. So for Sipcoy in Hamilton Township, we are, the hours of operation, hopefully 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. unless the township says otherwise, definitely for 21 and over, and we are going to have 24/7 security. Right now, we are only applying for the recreational retail dispensary. We would like to hold other licenses, but I know that's at a halt right now. So for Hamilton Township, we are looking to have, in just this retail space, 13 local jobs. We'll have over 520 products. And then this is about the numbers that would pay to the city and sales tax. Then, again, this number is from, so far, the Moreno Valley. I mean, it will differ because it is Jersey. So our proposed location is in the Industrial Business Park, Block 994, Lot 37, as you see there. That's a little bit of the inside, what we're hoping for it to look like. And then here we are going to hire at least 51% of staff, women, minorities, veterans, in the Hamilton Township residents. And then, we will prioritize qualified candidates from those targeted groups. And we also can provide management roles in the cannabis industry. So there is room to, grow. So volunteer and donations. So I know that I did make an error with the community organizations, but, if I do have if there is some guidance, I'm willing to work with the community to, get that straightened out. But our staff will participate in group events that will engage employee bonding and community engagement, and they will have incentives like our employees who do go out and participate. And really, we just want to educate the public with updated materials on truthful information and beneficial effects. And that is all for me. I hope that wasn't too fast.
No, you're fine.
That's it. And then any questions, of course, anything detailed, we can always reach out to my business partner, Craig. There's his information as well.
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
What made you choose Hamilton Township from Moreno Valley?
Well, I know they wanted to expand over to the East Coast, and in my township, it wasn't possible. They were giving out one license, and it had already been taken, really. So, I don't know. I'm up here a lot. So, I have kids. We go shopping. We to the mall. You know what I mean? So it just, I don't know. Why not?
How did you form your partnership?
So I actually have known Derek is a family friend of ours. I've known him for about maybe 8 years or so now. So he just kind of started out there, and then they want to come over here and take a chance and give me the opportunity.
And you said it was a mistake in your presentation that you volunteer at food pantries?
Yeah, I know I made an error with the community organizations for the food pantries, I believe. That's what Phil had said when I was speaking with him on the phone. So I didn't want to come not prepared, but I don't know. If there's any way that if there's somebody that I can talk to, that way I can get that sorted out on my end. That way we can donate to and help those who need it.
Thank you. That's it.
Multiple food banks in town, so.
Yeah. I know, I'm not familiar with every single part, but I will be, hopefully.
What makes you think that your products are above reproach, so to speak? Well monitored, well controlled, and so on and so forth?
Well, I'm going to get a lot of experience. Well, the guys have a lot of experience, my partners, so I'm hoping to learn from them. I don't know, I don't know.
And they don't have anything else in New Jersey right now, correct?
Not right now,
Nothing
no.
in New Jersey,
Nothing,
just over in
just in California, yep, in Moreno Valley.
Now, here's a $64,000 question. Is any of your associates or them affiliated with outside the United States, any countries?
No, nope, no.
Any other questions, anybody? No? All good? So, what was that, Judy?
It's an extensive time to be open, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week. I just, that's a very extensive time to be open. But being a private organization, sometimes we as the council would like to, set times for different things. And it just seems to me as though it's a very aggressive, set of times open, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. But that's something to be considered later, maybe.
Is there I believe there is a time, it's not past 10 PM, I didn't know, was there something in stating when they could open in the morning? I do not remember off the top of my head.
But we can
Yeah,
adjust
you
it
can
based on
look
what
it
the
up.
ordinance says.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
My apologies. Michael O'Malley, we're redevelopment counsel to the township,
Okay,
and I believe your ordinance says operation is from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Saturday.
Okay.
okay.
And then I just reviewed your ordinances earlier today, so I'll have to catch up on some of the amendments to it. I don't believe that has been amended, but I believe that's what the current is 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
I'm sorry, and just so everybody knows, he's with,
Bailey Gibbons.
yeah,
Yes.
Mally Givens, and I've never met you before, so I did not recognize you.
I just want to thank you guys that already just started the application. So 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Sunday. All right?
Very good, thank you.
I'm sorry, Monday through Saturday?
Monday-
I
Yeah.
said Monday through Saturday. The ordinance is Monday through Sunday.
Sunday.
Monday through Sunday.
So there you go, 9 to 9.
Got it. Monday to Sunday. Okay.
Now, this is retail only. Do you guys have any plans on expanding?
We do. Last I spoke with Phil, and he said, because I did ask him when the next application process is to open, and he did tell me that I guess we're putting a halt on it for right now, because there
Yes.
is other local endorsements, but we are looking to hold other licenses, yes.
Okay.
At that
Okay.
same
What might
spot.
they be?
I'm sorry?
And what might they be?
I know they want to do retail, cultivation, manufacture, and distribution.
Okay.
So you would have grow houses inside cultivation?
Well, we would have the retail, and then we would have the cultivation facility, yes, on the same lot.
Yeah, I don't know
If that's
if that's allowed.
in the industrial?
In a different location or the same location where you look?
I believe in the industrial, you can have.
Industrial park,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, you can
Not on the
have,
same, not in the same building.
it's not, well, I guess it won't be in the same building, it'll be, I don't know, I guess however many yards or
I don't
feet,
believe it
however.
can be in the same building.
Yeah, however.
Right, it can't be in the same
It can be
building.
separated,
I don't believe it can be in the same building.
Right.
It would have to be a separate building.
I mean, it can be on that same lot though, right? Because I believe the land that we have is about, I think it's like 3.4 acres or so. So would it be allowed on that same lot?
There's stipulations too.
Go to the microphone.
Yeah, go to the microphone, please, I'm sorry.
Michael O'Malley, we're redevelopment counsel to the township. I'll have to take a look. I don't believe, in most cases, it is usually parcel specific.
Okay,
So it's usually limited to one use on the parcel. I have to double check just to make
Okay.
sure. But, if you guys can look at subdividing the property, if that makes sense, or different parcels
Yeah.
in the area. But, again, can't quote me on it, because I have to take a look at the
I know,
ordinance to
yeah,
confirm,
definitely.
but
No, go ahead.
typically, that's the way that most of the townships are operating.
Okay,
All right.
yep, thank you.
Okay, so do we want to go ahead and do I hear a motion to endorse them?
Yeah, so move. This is just for the recreational,
This would just be for Class 5 retail
right,
on that specific lot.
right, so move.
I have a motion, I have a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
No.
Mr. Shanker?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes,
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
4 yes, 1 no, motion carries.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
And good luck.
Thank you.
3B, discussion, street vacation, portion of 30th Street. So this is street vacation out requested by the owner of, well, I can't read it, it's so dark.
It's Albanese.
Yeah, it's between, a private residence, and then the township owns Block 440, Lot 1, and 441, Lot 1.
My question to Phil, if we grant this vacation, would this isolate the properties that are owned by Hamilton Township so that they would not have access to a road leading from that particular piece of property that is ours as well? And we looked pretty closely at it, and that my question was answered, because that vacation goes through 31st Street.
Any other questions or comments?
it was moved to second, I didn't.
This other street that they're showing here in the picture.
Castle?
Cassell.
Cassell?
So if we're vacating 30th Street, how does that join those two properties together?
Are you going to
Well,
vacate
Anybody?
Cassell?
I threw it up in the air.
This is a request by the owners of
Of the blue properties.
the blue properties,
435, 436.
and I believe
Says in her
they
letter.
did not ask to vacate Castle, whatever it's called.
30th Street,
In her letter, it says, having 30th Street vacated would qualify me as adjoining property and make the bidding process easier and less burdensome.
correct. 30th Street would be vacated, half would go to the township, half would go to Mrs. Albanese.
Okay?
And then she's interested in purchasing those, which she would be an adjoining property owner, meaning there's no
Okay.
street between, and so that would give her right to first refusal.
So block 436 and 441 would become the one property? It would be our property and her property?
436 and 441 would still be 436 and 441. They would just each split that road
Okay,
and get a little bit bigger, and there wouldn't be a road separating them.
okay.
So if Mrs. Albanese wanted to come in and put in for a land sale request, and you wanted to sell 436, she would be a contiguous owner. She is not now.
But that doesn't really alleviate the fact that the
Yeah, so she's trying to tie
owners
these two together.
of the
Right.
other
This road
properties on that road will be,
Okay, yeah,
will not have access to Cassell.
right, right.
Cassell,
So my question is, are we at the point where letters went out to the other landowners?
We're the other
No,
landlord.
no,
We're
no,
not-
we're just doing a street vacation. So the first thing would be, do you want me to prepare the ordinance? And then, that would be introduced, and then I would notify them, but there isn't anyone affected except us.
Okay,
There's no one to notify, we're the only ones affected, unless someone has a differing opinion. I've checked with all departments. There's
all the-
nobody else affected
All the
except
properties
the
surrounding,
township.
all the properties surrounding 30th Street on the south side are township properties. And Cassell actually runs, I guess, north to south to paved street of 20, I believe it's 20th? Or 20th.
Yeah, but if you were to sell any of those other ones, and they would qualify being in that area, R4, such as 441 and 2, you would have a 4-acre property, so would that not inhibit other people from coming and trying to buy that land?
Well, because the property would be adjoining only to the owner that's requesting it right now, and you're vacating 30th, Cassell still is open. It's not vacated right as of now. But all the properties along Cassell, between Shepherd and Cassell, or to the south, west of Cassell, are township-owned properties. So if you did vacate Cassell further, then those properties would all be township properties, getting that street vacation. And then if somebody wanted to come in and try to buy those lots, they could. But it would be, go up to sale for everybody to go bid on.
and this is just a discussion to go ahead and draft the ordinance.
Street vacation, we're not talking about
street
selling anything at this point. Vacating the street, and then the land sale would be the next step.
Okay.
And now, when we vacate the street, we're giving up half of that property to, for instance, if we vacate 30th Street, okay, then we're giving up part of our ownership of that property, right?
Yes, that's always
So
when you vacate a street.
are we ever compensated for that?
well, you're putting it on the tax rolls, too.
Yeah,
You'll be putting it on the tax rolls?
Right.
Okay. Well, in my own estimation, there's a lot of subdivisions there, and if we own all of them, I think that would inhibit the sale of the other properties, and that's my own opinion.
But this resolution here is just for the vacation of it, not sell, right?
Not the sale of the adjoining.
Right,
It's just so, this will allow us to prepare the ordinance to vacate the street.
okay, I just wanted to make sure.
You'll see this a couple more times.
All right, thank you.
Well,
So do we,
I think we have to be very careful vacating streets.
yes, I agree with you.
And, so, I mean, if everyone wants to follow through with the ordinance at this point, I won't be able to support that.
Well, this is just drafting the ordinance, and we can discuss it, and you can
Oh.
vote against the, when this comes up. Correct? So do we need to,
I just want to, I want to make sure before we spend any money, or Ms. Albany spends any money, that we're going to move forward with it. So I just need a motion saying you want to move forward with it. I will be, if you do want to move forward with it, I'll be asking the applicant for $500.
so can I hear a motion to move forward with this?
I'll motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I'll second it. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
No.
Against?
No.
Good?
Yep.
Discussion item 3C. An ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey regarding requirement for inspection of lead-based paint in certain residential dwellings. Brett, you want to give us a little?
State has put a requirement on municipalities to pass an ordinance to enable the code enforcement and construction office to perform inspections on rental units that were constructed prior to 1978. Can't hear, sorry.
Can't hear you, Brett.
We have to inspect units that were constructed before 1978 for lead paint, basically. This is a state, this came down from the state. We have an ordinance prepared, but we wanted to discuss moving it forward at the next meeting.
And we have to create an ordinance for this?
Yes.
And is this all of Hamilton Township?
Yes.
Now, I did ask this question earlier, and I know it's every rental constructed before 1978, but do we know which ones they are?
We have a list. We know when the homes were built.
Okay, thank you.
In addition to the other inspections that we perform, we would do the lead-based paint inspection. I think 2 or 3 of our code enforcement or our inspectors have actually gone through the training for lead-based paint.
Is this a pretty extensive list?
Of units in the town,
Yeah.
I don't have the number in front of me, but it's significant enough where we have to pass the ordinance to be able to do it.
This is mandated from the state, correct, Brett?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's statewide, Judy.
Yeah, that requires more work, more time.
And there are fees.
There are fees
There are fees
that will be collected. Okay.
that will be collected.
Well, as Brett and I asked Chris one day, a homeowner or apartment owner can get it done once with a certain inspection, and then it's done for life, correct?
Yes.
They can opt to go that avenue as well.
The ordinance has a fee of $200 associated.
And that's basically to cover the costs that the township is kind of forced to pay,
That's what neighboring towns are charging, so we're just,
mirroring them.
canvass we canvass the area, and that's what everyone else is charging, so that's what we're charging.
Understood. So do I hear a motion to go ahead with this ordinance?
So move.
With a motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Against? Ayes have it. Discussion of item 3D. Shared service agreement for the fueling with Atlantic County. Brett, what's the good news?
The good news is that we've developed a shared service agreement with the county. The county has agreed to pay for 65% of the cost of the tanks and the work at Public Works. That would leave the remaining 35% on the Township Hamilton. With this, we're also looking to apply for a LEAP grant that could offset the project up to $400,000. That's part of the shared service agreement. The other piece of this is a fuel commodity license, which basically polices the other towns that the county brings in.
We didn't already have that?
No.
I shouldn't have asked that question.
No, the county had other agreements with, if they brought in ACIT or Hamilton Township MUA, those agreements were directly with those entities. Now this gives the township oversight of those side agreements that the county, when the county brings in a new user, we'll make sure that they have the proper insurance and, you know, they know the rules. They have to sign another shared services agreement similar to what we're looking at tonight.
Okay.
Brett, could you enumerate the number of county organizations that have in the past and still now and in the future will be using that site for refueling?
Right off the top of my head, I can tell you that we have the sheriff's department, we have the prosecutor's office, we have the jail, we have the county public works, ACIT is a sublet of the county, and then we have 16 others that the county has brought in over the years. We have the Hamilton Township MUA, we have, I believe, the city of Northfield. There's quite a few of them.
Okay, so I mean, they say they're taking care of 65%. It sounds like they would be more like 80% with the use of
It's
their...
based on the county's fuel usage. That's how we broke it down. So they use 65% of the gas and the diesel at the site.
Okay,
That's how we spread the cost
all right.
out.
I really think that is fair, because before it seemed like we were responsible for everything.
We were responsible for 100% of the
Right.
cost of those fuel tanks.
Good job.
Now, in their 65%, I know we have put up some money to begin with, or we passed a ordinance, you know, getting monies together. As we incur these bills, will they incur 65%, or do
Yes.
we take all the costs and then send them a bill?
Yes, exactly. They've actually agreed to pay for the 65% of the engineering as well. So any costs associated with this will be, you know, we'll incur them up front, and then we'll bill the county.
It's a great job. Great job.
On the LEAP grant for 400,000, is that for the project or for the Township of Hamilton? Does that come to us and that's part of our 35%, or does it just cover the
It
project?
covers the project,
Okay.
so the county would get 60.
That would go to the
Yeah,
project from there,
right.
okay. Mhm.
And the LEAP grant, I believe you said Triad's going to,
We have a price from Triad to write the LEAP grant and then do the paperwork if we were successful in getting the LEAP grant.
we haven't decided on that yet?
We haven't decided on that
Okay.
yet. It's in the agreement.
And the county agreed to pay 65%
Yes.
of the fee that Triad would
Right.
charge us.
Exactly.
When does that have to be done by?
As soon as possible. That's why we're trying to get this done tonight.
Okay.
Need to get the purpose of this is we need to get the tanks ordered. There's a 6 to 8 month lead on the tanks. So the sooner we can get this done, the sooner we can get the tanks ordered and the old tanks dug up and removed.
I just have another question. When they pay us back the 65%, where does that go in the budget? Is it under capital? Under where?
Capital. Cindy's nodding capital.
Okay,
It's similar to what we do with the dam.
okay.
It's the opposite with the dam. The county bills us 50% for whatever the dam costs. So
Okay, so.
we're the lead
send them
agency
a big
on this.
fat bill. Okay, very good. Brett, that was a very good move. I'm glad you worked on this very hard, I'm sure.
I'd like to thank Public Works. They did most of the work on this one.
Okay, Public Works, thank you.
And finance.
Okay. So,
Okay, so what are we doing? This is,
to
is this to
discussion.
create an ordinance to
No.
do this, or this is the
Agreement.
shared agreement?
There's actually number one, which is a resolution, it's in your packets, authorizing Township of Hamilton to serve as the lead agency and to apply for the LEAP grant. And then item two is a different resolution authorizing Remington and Burton to provide environmental services.
So the first resolution.
There are two resolutions.
I move the resolution for the shared service agreement with the county.
Second,
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Move the resolution to authorize Remington Vernick Engineers to provide environmental services.
I have a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes. Public hearing, adoption of ordinances. Ordinance 2038, 2023, an ordinance authorizing the sale of Lot 5, Block 663, as shown on the tax map of the Township of Hamilton, granting the owner or owners of said real property contiguous to same the right to prior refusal to purchase such land in the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey.
So move.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
We need to have a public hearing.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's public
That'd be
hearing.
good.
This is a public hearing. Anybody in the public wish to speak? Do I hear a motion to close public?
Motion to close public portion?
Second,
Motion second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Against?
Make a motion to move ordinance 2038-2023.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Do I need a roll call?
Yes.
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
All yes and adopted.
Public hearing, ordinance 2039, 2023, an ordinance authorizing the sale of Lot 38 and Block 983, as shown on the tax map of the Township of Hamilton, and granting to the owner or owners of said real property contiguous to same the right to prior refusal to purchase such land in the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey. This is a public
This is
hearing. Anybody from the public wish to speak?
Motion to close?
second,
I have a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Motion to move ordinance 2039-2023.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
All yes and adopted.
Public hearing, ordinance 2040-2023, ordinance of the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, establishing a single joint municipal court with the town of Hamilton, repealing and amending Chapter 52 of the General Ordinances of the Township of Hamilton, and approving a joint municipal court agreement for the operation of the joint municipal court with the town of Hamilton.
So move.
This is a public
A
hearing.
Public hearing.
Anybody from the public wish to speak? Mr. Strye?
I'm in favor of this ordinance, but when you introduced it, you didn't say why. I mean, at the last meeting, I looked at the video, so why are you doing this?
That was decided.
You want to, I mean, you're kind of looking at me here, so go ahead.
The microphone?
Microphone.
Good evening.
Put it closer to you.
Like you said, we've already passed the two ordinances, one to leave the central municipal court and one to join the Hamilton Township Municipal Court. The real reason here is that it promotes judicial efficiency and economy. It's going to save the township quite a bit of money compared to the existing arrangement with the central municipal court. It's pretty straightforward. Right now, we are obligated to stay with the central municipal court through the end of December of this year. So this will become effective as of January 1st of 2024. The nice thing about this agreement is there's no payment obligation up front. We don't have to cut a check. Essentially, Hamilton gets to keep the first $150,000 in revenues. And after that, we're going to split all of our revenues 50-50. They're going to pay 100% of all the overhead costs, which is going to save this township quite a bit of money. It's also going to streamline the process. And I don't want to say anything disparaging about the Central Municipal Court, but we do believe it's going to increase efficiency and have a better user experience for the residents of this township. So those are some of the reasons why this is being proposed.
Okay, good.
Exactly what he said.
Pardon me?
Exactly what he said.
The reason I'm for it, aside from saving money, The experience that in the area of zoning enforcement is my area of interest.
You and I have had many conversations, you know, and
And if I could give you two examples of what I think is a real good reason, provided that not only the efficiencies, but the equity in zoning enforcement at the court level. Just recently, there was a resident in Mays Landing received a summons for illegal shed and fence and deserved those summonses, okay? In the meantime, that resident came before the zoning board to get variances to straighten the problem out, and the zoning board granted the variances, and essentially the shed and the fence stayed as is, okay? Now, after that, the resident property owner still had a summons, went to court to answer to answer the summons, and despite going to the zoning board to have the situation rectified, which they did, the court still fined them $200. Okay, apparently I don't know how the zoning officer did not have that summons dismissed, but I think it's a shame that a resident had to still pay a $200 fine, despite the fact that they did what they were supposed to do. Incidentally, the shed was there on the property when they bought the house. Okay, now contrast that, okay, treatment of that particular property owner with, we'll go back a year and a half where Township Committee passed not an ordinance, but a resolution for the property between Neville's Auto and Freddie J's, a property that has no approvals whatsoever. And this violation has gone back several property owners, all the way back to 2015, where the township has come to agreements with the previous property owner. And in that resolution, it was a gift to the property owner to continue using that property for employees only, put up a fence and a few other things, and essentially has thumbed their nose at the Township Committee and has done nothing. Well, I won't say anything, but there has been no resolution of that situation. An application is not before the either planning or zoning board. So there are two completely extremes on both ends, nothing in the middle to simply enforce the summonses at the court level. So I'm hoping that by moving the court from the county level to what is proposed would just put everybody on the same rules and the same equity, and that's all. So
that's what we're hoping for as well.
I'm hoping. So thank you for doing that. I hope that, and by the way, I would hope that the resolution of the resolution for Freddie J's is addressed sooner than later.
Since there are outstanding, it's in the courts, I'm not going to make a comment on that.
That's
I don't know
okay.
if he's
That's okay.
I'm going to listen to counsel.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
Mayor, I just would like to say it was a beautiful article on this project. I read it online with the press, done a wonderful job talking about us moving out.
Moving out?
Yeah, leaving the court, leaving the central court. So I thought it was a nice article, and your comments were good.
Mr. Carrigan.
A better idea is to bring back the municipal court, like we had here many years ago. Remember when Michelle was-
I know. You may think it's a better idea, but I don't know about that now.
Remember when
MUA
Michelle
has
was
moved
the
in
judge?
here now.
Michelle Verno?
A lot of
you know her?
costs.
It'd be a huge cost to hire all those employees back. Hamilton has made us a very, very good deal, and I think this will be very good for our town.
Where's Michelle working now? Michelle Verno. Remember she used to be the judge here?
Yes,
She might
I
be.
believe she works for the county. I don't know. I have no idea.
No idea.
No
Thanks
comment.
a lot.
I just have one comment to make. When we leave this agreement with the county, is there any financial and Any financial thing that we have to do to leave that, or is that all taken care of?
I can't speak with 100% certainty, but I don't believe so, and I know that we're free to walk away as of January 1st of next year, 2024.
Okay, so we don't owe the county anything.
I'm fairly confident we don't, but I don't want to say absolutely because I don't have the numbers in front of me.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. Michael Payton, 50-year resident, attorney. For many years, I was a public defender in our municipal court. We got a great staff over there. They're working their butts off.
Over where?
The Central Municipal Court, they
Okay.
are overwhelmed. I had a case March 17th, has not been rescheduled yet. They just can't get it done. If you've got the phone number, you call, it says we will answer you back in 48 hours. It's a good move. This is a great move, and to answer the question, the article was great. The bail, they can't post bail on people. They can't collect that bail. They can't suspend license like they used to, which would get people back into court and pay their fines. There are people out there with bails that they're not going after, warrants, because they're not allowed to. So that's what reduced our revenue here. It's slow over there. Everything is by Zoom. That's probably why the local guy didn't get his ordinance to be there for what Bruce was talking about. It's all on Zoom, a lot of it. So I think this is a good move. I was actually about to do an Oprah request to see if we could pull out. Then I found out that you were considering that anyway. So I think this is a great move. And I've been to the Hamilton Court. The judge there is fantastic. If they're going to keep him, I don't know. But it is very slow. If you've got an email for the people, then they respond. But if you call the day before, you're not getting an answer. It's very tough. It's a shame. I know Tony's working her butt off. She sent me an email 8 o'clock at night once. I mean, the court administrators there that late trying to make it work, but I don't think they know what they were doing. I mean, we had district courts 100 years ago in the state. We got rid of them. I don't know why, but I don't think they know what they bid off. And I don't think they even did a bidding process for the professionals last year. I looked, I didn't see it. So I don't know that they're even following the rules they tried to set up. So I think this is a good move. I'm happy about it. I'd rather than be here because it's a closer drive than Hamilton, but that the courts were here. But Hamilton has a good facility over there. Parking's horrible, but that's Hamilton. But I think it's a good move, and I'm glad you guys are doing this. I never liked the idea in the first place because you don't have that contact you have with the court staff or getting the people in there. And I mean, you go there, it gets postponed for months and months and months on end. Like I said, March 17th, they haven't rescheduled it yet. I don't blame anybody. They're just overworked. They're overwhelmed. I mean, I know a lot of those ladies personally. They've worked here. Some have retired. Some are retiring. And they're losing some good staff at the end of this year because of the retirements. So I think that's just going to make it worse for the new people they're hiring that they got to train. So I congratulate you guys on making this decision. I think it will better serve the township and the people, especially if we don't have to pay any of the overhead costs, because we were making money. Then when they started passing these bail reforms and the courts can't suspend the license, you don't show up, you will get suspended. You rush back to pay your fines. They can't do that anymore. They can't issue the warrants like they used to. It's tough on the judges also because they're like I think the article said there's no teeth. I think that was a quote by Mayor Tatelli here. There's no teeth in it. There isn't. I was in court a few weeks ago with a local person who's a sovereign, and she just walked out. She just got tired of talking to the prosecutor and left. Like, all right, well, what do we do here? So, but that's why I came here. I haven't been here in years. It's nice to see people again. I haven't seen in years. But yeah, I was just interested in this, and I don't usually get involved and say stuff to people, but I'm happy you're doing this. I think this is a good move for the township, and I know the defense attorneys are going to appreciate it too.
Thanks, Mike. Good to see you. Anybody else from the public?
Make a motion to close the public portion.
Have a
Second.
motion to second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Against?
Mayor, if I might just make a comment, I don't want anybody in here to get the impression that we think that the court system is poorly run or the people who work there are not doing their jobs. This is a financial move by the township. We are going from having to pay a substantial amount of money to paying nothing. This move costs the taxpayers nothing. So it's a win-win for us, and I think that we just need to stay focused on what helps the taxpayers and what keeps our taxes in check. that's all.
Exactly.
Can I just say something also?
Absolutely.
Also, I'm glad that we made the move because I heard, I don't know how true it is, that Northfield is going to Hamilton also. So, we wanted to be one of the first ones to get on this, so we would have,
Standing.
yeah, we would have the first start, a jump start on saving the taxpayers' money. So I'm happy that we moved forward. And again, the article was wonderful and made Hamilton Township look good. Thank you.
Well,
And once again, I'm sorry, Judy, go ahead.
yeah, I've been in touch with people that feel very frustrated with the service that they've been getting at the municipal court. So I think it not only saves us money, but it also, we serve our public better by this happening.
Just to clarify, I agree with Mr. Shanker.
Public session's closed.
Yeah, public session's closed.
Public session.
Public, Mike, public session's
The staff is
closed.
fantastic. The staff is great over there.
Mike,
I'm sorry, did you
public
close?
session is closed.
Yeah, public session is closed. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'd like to, one thing I'd like to say, just so everybody understands, this is a 10-year deal. And we, just as the deal we had with the county, after 2 years, we can back out of it like we did with the county. So if things aren't going the way it was promised, if we're not getting the service that we want, we could do exactly what we did just now. And after 2 years, we back out and, we look at whatever our options are. We had a meeting with Hamilton, and we feel very confident that they are, they're going to stand behind the deal that they made. Obviously, it's all in writing, but we all know, who knows what could happen down the road. But, we're looking forward to this, and, there are options for us. It's pretty much the same as what we did with the county. So, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to move 2040, 2023.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Chi?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Shanker?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patel?
Yes.
All yes, adopted.
Moving on. Introduction of ordinances. Public hearing will be held on May 15th. Introduction ordinance 2041, 2023, an ordinance authorizing the sale of lots 15, 16, 17, 18 in Block 390 as shown on the tax map of the Township of Hamilton, and granting to the owner or owners of said real property contiguous to same the right to prior refusal to purchase such land in the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, and State of New Jersey.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? B, bond ordinance appropriating $5 million and authorizing the issuance of $5 million in bonds or notes for construction of a new dam spillway and related improvements at Lake Lenape.
Motion.
Now, it says
I have a
that,
motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
okay, the bond ordinance is subject to approval by the local finance board in waiving the 5% down payment requirement. Is that more of a reality? Because we know that 5% would be difficult.
Our application has been submitted to the local finance board to be heard on May the 10th. It is a requirement for the introduction of the ordinance to be placed before that date. And yes, they are willing to hear this. This is an acceptable application or an acceptable reason for an application.
Okay.
So
So,
that we have to pass this before they can hear that.
okay. All
Okay.
right, there we go.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Against? Ayes have it. 5C, ordinance 2043, 2023, an ordinance amending ordinance 1931, 2020, and ordinance establishing regulations and fees for trash removal in conjunction with shared service agreement with the Atlantic County Utilities Authority. We did have a discussion about this last meeting. Brett, you want to real quick go over it?
This is just raising the extra cart fees from $130 per year to $100 per year.
155.
150.
155.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
because
says-
one spot it says
says
150,
150, and then it says 155.
whereas,
That is corrected. I caught that right before the meeting. It's corrected.
okay,
It's 155.
okay.
Oh, okay, so then it's 155.
Motion?
I have a motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
against? Ayes have it. 5D, introduction of ordinance 2044, 2023, an ordinance amending Exhibit A, Section 1 of Chapter 66 of the Code of the Township of Hamilton, providing for CDL trainer. This, we had a discussion last meeting. Anybody need any further info? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Ayes have it. 6A, award professional services to Thomas G. Smith for conflict tax attorney for the amount not to exceed $6,600.
So moved.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Roll call vote,
I
please.
have some questions.
Oh, go ahead.
The clients that were listed was Atlantic City Electric, New Jersey American Water Company, and Atlantic City Sewage Company. Is there, I don't understand the conflict that our tax assessor would have with these three entities.
Those aren't the conflicts.
Those aren't the conflicts.
Those are just.
They aren't the conflicts. What are the conflicts?
The conflicts is a former committee member filed a tax appeal.
And who is that?
We shouldn't get into particulars
No.
about that.
You're not allowed to divulge that?
No.
Okay, all right. I saw them listed at the end, and I thought, well, that should not be an issue with those people, but, all right, so we have to provide another attorney,
Correct.
okay?
I have a motion, a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes,
Mr. Shanker?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
Oh, yes, and carried.
6B, authorize a deduct change order to reduce EDA contract for design, engineering, and construction management services, Leapy Field Recreation Complex, Phase 1, from $75,000 to $38,425.88. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
second,
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
yes,
Mr. Shanker?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
Oh, yes, and carried.
6C, authorize a deduct change order to reduce Mott Watkins Associates contract for special project engineering services for Dog Park Master Plan from $17,500 to $3,510.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
yes,
Mr. Shanker?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
Oh, yes, and carried.
6D, authorize engineering services to Mott Watkins Associates for design, permitting, and construction services for Leapy Field concession stand and restroom building in the amount of $38,000.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion to second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
yes,
Mr. Shanker?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
Oh, yes, and carried.
Consent agenda.
Make a motion to accept A through G.
I have a motion for A through G.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Ayes have it. Personnel. Motion accepting resignation of Ray Keelman as alternate, Kyleman, I'm sorry, of Ray Kyleman as alternate 2 member of the zoning board, term expiring 12/31/23.
So
So-
moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Ayes have it. Appointment of alternate 2 member of zoning board, unexpired, 2-year term to expire 12/31/23.
I nominate Bob Campbell.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for Bob Campbell. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek,
No.
Mrs. Link,
Yes.
Mr. Schenker,
No.
Dr. Witherspoon,
Yes.
Mayor Patel.
No.
Motion's defeated.
I motion for Joel Burgess.
I have a motion for Joel Bridges.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. I have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek,
Yes.
Mrs. Link,
No.
Mr. Schenker,
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon,
No.
Mayor Patel.
Yes.
3 yes, 2 no. Motion carries.
8C, resolutions to appoint co-staff for the 2023 season, June 17th through September 4th, 2023. Do I have to name everybody?
You can do
Yeah.
it all at once.
Okay, we're going to do this all at once. How's that?
I motion.
Second?
I have a motion. I have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call vote on this, please?
Yes, Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link,
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patel.
Yes, and welcome. There's a couple of returning. Looking forward to seeing them out there at the Cove this year. Approvals, minutes, regular meeting minutes of April 17th, 2023.
So moved.
I have a motion. I have a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Against? Ayes have it. Minutes, executive session meeting minutes of April 17th, 2023.
So moved.
So moved. Second?
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link,
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patel.
Yes. Bills, bill list, total $7,505,709.60.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link,
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patel.
Yes. Reports. Mr. Administrator.
I just want to thank Public Works for their work over the past weekend with the rain and the flooding. And I wanted to wish Cindy good luck with the local finance board on May 10th. That's all I have.
Solicitor.
I have nothing official, no township business, but I will announce my 6-year-old has a loose tooth. That's a pretty big deal in our household. It's our first one, so.
That's big news.
That's
That's
big
all I have
news.
tonight.
Big news.
What does a
Is it
tooth
how
go for
loose?
nowadays?
And what's the going
And
rate?
our first tooth?
I'm scared to find out, yeah.
You better stop at the Mac machine on the way home.
That inflation's gonna get you, yeah.
Engineer.
I did not prepare a report, but I would like to say that Hamilton Township MUA has Atlantic Avenue under construction with the replacement of the water main. That's moving forward pretty steadily, and hopefully should be completed in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then we'll be going out to bid with Atlantic Avenue, both Phase 2 and local freight, right after they complete it. So hopefully by the summertime, the road's under construction, and by start of school, that road will be completed, paved in both sections.
Very good.
Very good.
Let's hope they don't run into any problems.
Fingers crossed.
Township committee members. Dr. Witherspoon.
Yes. I would like to report that I did attend the Atlantic County League of Municipalities dinner at the Thomas Cellar Winery in Hamilton on the 26th. Senator Bill Gormley was the guest speaker. It was a wonderful event. The next meeting will be held on the 19th of May at the Claridge Hotel in Atlantic City. I would also like to announce that the Green Fair will be on Saturday, May the 13th at the Oak Crest High School. It's a very nice event. I go every year. I plan to go also this year. I was here on Thursday, not officially at the meeting, but I stuck my head in to say hello, and I understand that they want to introduce an ordinance that there are no more balloon releases. So,
Brett's aware when we are looking into it.
yeah, but I wanted to report that I did, stop by, and they did bring that up. That's all that I have to report. I did get something from HPC, Historical Preservation Commission, but I have to further look into this resolution for Revolution New Jersey Community, to become a Revolution New Jersey Community. It was left in my box, but I didn't have time to investigate this, but I need to look into this and see if this is a resolution that the township would want to do. That's my report.
Very good. Mr. Schenker?
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to thank Public Works for the job that they do, not just this weekend, but they're like the silent force that you kind of don't really see them until you need them, and they're there, and they did a great job getting things back into the form very quickly. I also had the pleasure of going to the Oak Crest Marching Band Designer Bag Bingo, my first, and will not be my only. It was a lot of fun. I didn't win because I'm really bad at bingo.
You thought you won.
Yeah, I thought I won, but I did not win. That's how
I was one of
bad
those
I am.
guys that yelled bingo, but no.
I was just
Sorry.
practicing. Let's get that straight.
You were playing the game when
But
you're...
it's pretty serious stuff. I didn't realize how serious it was until we got into it. But anyway, it was a great turnout. I hope they raised a lot of money.
They did.
It was definitely worthwhile. And please, anyone know of any more designer bag bingos, let me know. I'm your guy. That's all I have.
Great. Thank you, sir. Mrs. Link?
I would like to reiterate the May 13th for the Sustainability Day that they have over at Oak Crest. It's a very great endeavor, and we constantly look for ways to improve our environment, so that's great. I don't see any mention of hometown celebration. Has that been approached for the 24th of June?
I heard that it was going to happen. I didn't hear it from somebody official. I don't know if anybody out there. Greg shaking his head yes. So, yes. I'll reach out. I mean, or you, if you want to reach out to John Kurtz, I guess.
I think,
Yeah, come on up and expand on that,
Please,
Greg,
please
please.
expand.
It is going to happen on the 24th. It will be at War Memorial Park. They are not going to close down Main Street. There will be different events there. They are going to celebrate first responders, so fire, EMS, and the police will be out there, and they'll have tables along with many other things going on. They are going to have, I believe, a chalk thing for the kids to draw, and they're going to, I believe, judge it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, it is going to happen.
It's the Mays Landing,
I'm sorry?
is it the Mays Landing
Yeah, War
businesses?
Memorial Park, it'll be downtown.
Okay.
Main Street just won't be blocked off.
Are there going to be any fire trucks there?
Yes, we'll have fire trucks, EMS vehicles, police vehicles.
And it was suggested that that might be a great time to try to get more people
Yeah,
involved.
for volunteers and everything else. So we'll have tables set up for volunteers for rescue and for the fire departments. Anything else?
No.
Very good.
Very good. Thanks, Chief. Anything else, Judy?
No.
Anything else?
No, not tonight. No.
Mr. Cheek?
A little over a week ago in Laureldale, they had one heck of a fire. And I have to send the kudos out to the first responders, the public works, the emergency management. Not only was it our people, it was every tanker
Tanker
in
task
Atlantic
force.
County and some from Cape May County. And it really showed how well everyone worked together and behind the scenes that luckily we don't see every day. But thank you very much for all the first responders and the public works. And that's it.
Yep, agreed. Yes, I was at the designer bag bingo also. I didn't win. But great time. Preliminary, sounds like they raised about $8,000. So that's really good for the Oakcrest Band. Really helps them out, really gets them started off really, really strong. Glad to hear about Hometown Celebration. I know they kind of didn't happen the last, 2 years, I believe it was, 2 years, 3 years. So very, very happy to see that get started again, and I'll reach out to, I guess John's in charge, John Kurtz. I'll reach out to John and see what he needs, and we'll help him out with any way that we can. That's really all I have, and jumping on with what Mr. Cheek said, that was a pretty big fire, and like you said, you really see everybody come together. They're all volunteers. It was a Friday night, so a lot of them were home with their families, and they jumped up and did what they had to do, and took care of business. So that's always great to hear that things come together like that. And I believe there was no injuries. It was just one firefighter that was a little overwhelmed, but he's okay. He or she, I don't remember, but everybody's good. So that's really all I have for that. Hi, Reagan. Maddie, miss you, love you, hope to see you soon. So I'll open that up to the public. Mr. Payton.
Like old business, like I said, my office is in Belkaville now, and I know the contract for the MUA expired. $100 per quarter is what the water bill went up. So I know that's not, that's not necessarily your business, but I know because Hamilton Township is no longer servicing Weymouth Township, I'm not sure who they got, but I saw a $100 increase per quarter in my water bill. And there's only, I think, 200 homes, 160 homes out there that receive their water. So that's actually a big burden that those people, they don't vote here, but I mean, that's the impact. And I mean, I'm commercial, so I don't know what it was for residential, but I think it was pretty much the same. So that's $400 per year for those residents out there because of the break of the contract. Not break, the ending of the contract for the service. So that's, I just wanted to let and I don't know if there's going to be restored in the future or what's going to happen, but that was a big service that the people of Belkaville lost because that contract did not remain in place. Just wanted to, I wasn't planning on saying that, but it just occurred to me as we were sitting there. I know that's old business from a couple of months ago, but that was the impact of that contract.
Mr. Strye.
The committee that's looking into the ordinance of the township and redevelopment, any status or a time frame or how that's going to, is there going to be a report or something?
Art, Judy?
Right now, we're trying to
There's
get
a meeting that is established for May 17th.
I'm sorry?
There is a meeting established for May 17th, a subcommittee meeting.
Okay.
Okay?
We're waiting to speak with to meet with the redevelopment attorneys.
Okay.
Oh, that's a meeting
That's
to do
why
that?
it's been taking a while to get it set up.
Okay, May 17th, okay, so,
May 17th.
okay, good, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Motion to close public comment?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? We will be adjourning into executive session. Rita?
Will we
be coming back out to take action of any kind? Are we coming back
No,
out?
No?
we will not be coming
Do
back
you need a
out.
motion for this?
Resolution for this.
Okay, gonna read it? Okay.
Be it resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Hamilton that this meeting be adjourned to an executive session to discuss the following matter, which is exempt from public discussion pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law, personnel matters. Be it further resolved, the governing body will not reconvene in public session to confirm the results of the executive session. Be it further resolved that the results of the executive session shall be made known as soon as the basis for confidentiality is no longer confidential. Need a motion? Second.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
All right.
We good?
Here you
That's
go.
Happy birthday, man.